is it? You have your phone? Text me that. Text me new microphones. That's fine. And microphone arm. But I might not need that if we're going to get the... Good? Okay. Man, that is... Do I need it that hard? Whoa. Reaction time. All right, I'm just going to move this here because I'm going to be doing something different today anyways. This is the main reason why I want new microphones, but got to get them here the next couple days. Obviously can't over the weekend. Is Dana in here? Dana, if you're in there, can you just type in the chat that you can hear me well? Either way, should be good. Can you turn on the overclocking? Just good. Thank you, Danny. Overclock on the bottom right. Yeah, it makes it. Do the second one. The second one's supposed to smooth out the video and everything for gaming, so that actually might help here. All right, welcome, episode 10. This is week 5. We are on hamstrings and quads this week. And I know you guys are sick of seeing me so much, so we're going to have my beautiful wife Sarah do all the rolling today. I have been breaking my rules of doing this stuff with you guys and then working. Sundays is our Sabbath is Saturday, so I take that off, and then Sundays I've been picking up sessions while we're here just to help people out because I'm only going to be here for a period of time. But because of that, I've been doing stuff that I normally wouldn't, normally I would, on most weekends I'm off completely, but I have been doing some Sundays, and I've been doing this and foam rolling with you guys and then going out and doing work. And my neck has been irritated really bad for it's caused me sleep issues. It's caused me everything. And so, I stand by what I advocate for, because if you go and desensitize the nervous system, set it up for a catabolic recovery response, and you go out and try and push it to be anabolic or anaerobic after that by doing exercise or some kind of physical exertion, you're working inside a false sense of reality. Because even though you feel good, I know you feel good. I know we all feel great after we foam roll, but that does not mean that you go out and then leverage those tissues and see what they can do, because it doesn't work that way. You've just caused a response. Remember, the body's 99% water with different energy and mineral compounds flowing through it. Therefore, it forms different things, but it's still water. So you have to look at it in less of a physical kind of aspect and realize, like, when you desensitize something, you're pulling back like an energy vibration that goes through that meridian pathway. And that is as scientific as it is kind of like modern thinking. But if you pull back that, then everything around it has a bigger channel of energy. It is going to turn on. That's the purpose of it. It's like if you like are walking with a group of friends and somebody like rolled their ankle and they couldn't hold themselves up. Now all the friends would immediately pick them up and be like, all right, put your arm around me. Okay, we're good, and go. That's what happens when you take and roll the roller, desensitize, say, the rectus femoris down the center of your leg. And then now everything laterally and medial, basically to the inside and outside of it, they're told. You just commanded them, help out. I want you to help out. That's what you did. And people want to say, no, I feel good. Stop. You cannot try and think your conscious mind means anything. Your conscious mind is more of like a facilitator or a stimulant. Oh, we're not fully pinned. So the you can't like take and look at yourself in the conscious and think that you control everything. Just because you pull your arm into a motion like this and you do, doesn't mean it's a stretch. It doesn't mean that your brain just immediately goes, oh, I know what Josh is going to do right now. We're going to go stretch. So if you sit there and think about it that way, your body is the designated driver you don't want. You really do want it, but in your conscious mind, it's annoying because it will fight you on things that you want to do, but the body knows it's not right for you. So you got to look at it in the fact that if you take and go and foam roll and stretch yourself out all real good before you work out, you have literally just worked against yourself. I don't care what person tries to, oppose that kind of thinking. It's impossible because, yes, hi, Mama. Um, there's no way for you to supersede the nervous system. It's impossible for you to do that. So you have to think that the body is going to do things regardless. And then you also have to realize even further than that, what you are doing is telling and commanding the body to do something. So if you foam roll and stretch before a workout, you just told it, go rest, relax, and recover. And then you go try and challenge it. So when you do that, the muscles that you just told to go rest, relax, and recover are now going to tell their buddies around them, hey, can you pick up the slack? And the body works off elastic tension too, meaning if this muscle's all super, super tight and then you relax it, then if these muscles right here are still super, super tight, guess who's going to take over? The ones that still have elastic tension. So you cannot think that, oh, you rolled through here, because you could be the smartest PhD, physical therapist, DO, whatever you want to be and say, and you could not evenly distribute the pressure and release all the way around your leg. Not only that, but you would take an entire day for you to actively roll everything in your body to make it evenly decompress. It's impossible. I mean, just talking about it sounds like it's inconceivable, because it's, one, it would take way more time. It would defeat the whole purpose of what you're trying to do. And two, it's just, that is trying to be like, it's very arrogant in a way to sit there and say that you can control your body on that level, because the body's mechanisms built into us, created from the beginning, were to protect us. So you don't want those things to shut off. You would never, ever want to say that. So make sure that you do your due diligence on your off time and after your exercise and when you're sore or in the off days, and really, even if you're going to go train upper body, don't foam roll your lower body and then go train your upper body. It's still the same thing, guys. You're creating weakness in the tissue. And then the other areas are going to in turn affect that. So don't think that you can avoid one area. It always still needs to be done after the effort is put in, because you're still drawing the nervous system in a powerful manner from one side. And I mean, if you go train your upper body, tell me how it doesn't affect your lower body. Of course it does. Train your lower body and tell me how it doesn't train or affect your upper body. It's impossible. So do things accordingly. And if you're doing them before your workouts and stuff like that, and you feel the need to, then you're being lazy. And you're just, same thing I have to tell myself. Like, why did I need to do that with you guys and not have Sarah do it? Where in fact, I probably, like, when we do it right now, you're going to see I'm going to be talking it through and everything like that, and seeing a different perspective. So it's equally cool. But I should be, advocating for the right things and then following through with them myself, because it's caused my left shoulder right now. I feel it. And thankfully, Sarah does some real amazing stretching and did some stuff the last couple of days. That's helped me out a lot. But like last night, she stretched me, and then Joshua woke back up. And so she went to bed, and we didn't get to do the same thing on my left that we did on my right. And my left middle finger just immediately started burning, like nerve burn. It was on fire. Fortunately, it calmed down. I did a couple things and it calmed down. But like still, like today, because of the way she did that, and I haven't had that sleep, so she stretched me out real good this morning and everything like that, but my left side still feels really ticked off. Why? Because your computer, it likes to go through a sleep. If I work on somebody for 4 hours, it takes like 2 full sleeps before their body really calibrates everything that just happened, or recalibrates everything that just happened. So same thing goes. She just did it there, but the difference is I didn't sleep on it like I did on this side, and this side feels phenomenal. So just think about those things, guys. Symmetry in your therapy is always of the utmost importance. And then making your timing of when you do your therapy is the most important. Obviously the most important is how you do it. But the timing is equally important to that, because you could do the best work at the wrong time and you can really screw the body up. Uh, I just explained that to you. So, I felt great doing the stuff that I did. And wow, the amount of relief I created last week, especially when I had that debilitating injection site. It's amazing, but it's a false sense of reality, because I went out and challenged it, and then it was no bueno. So, all right, we're going to get right to it. We don't have a PowerPoint or anything today. No, that's right. Yeah, still getting my little rhythm on some things. So Sarah's going to come in. We're going to do hamstrings and we're going to do quads. Okay, so if we were going to do, honestly, I think the way to assess hamstring, we have a race car, raceway behind our house. The way to assess just your legs and which way you're going to hit them. Do you have an anterior pelvic tilt? You're probably going to say yes. Okay, because if you don't have some pitch like that, then thank you for still having people like you out there, because almost nobody doesn't have some kind of anterior pelvic tilt, even myself. And if you don't, it's because you're actively working on it. And that's why I said, kudos to you, and I would shake your hand, because most people aren't. If you have an anterior pelvic tilt, you 100% always want to start with your quads, period. They're going to be the most sensitive. They're going to be the most angry. Okay, I'm going to actually change that. If you were going to do the roller, I would do your quads first. If you're just going to lay down and relax and chill. But if you're going to get right to it and you're really trying to do something and go, I would definitely start with my favorite way to do the hamstrings, which nobody really does, because everybody wants to roll their hamstrings like this, and then it pulls the hamstrings out to the surface, makes it really, really impenetrable. You can't smash into them, and you can't get in and leverage those knots properly. So see the way I'm sitting right now? That's how we're going to roll your hamstrings. When you bend the knee, even though you think of contraction, when you bend the knee, it softens the hamstrings, meaning you can stick stuff up in there. So this is my favorite to do on almost everything. But there's also an equal amount of favoritism that I shed on my black density roller, okay? So it doesn't matter if you're going to sit like this. I could have actually done this and talked through it, but I'm not going to, because I will aggravate it. So here's what you want on here, and we're going to have Sarah do it. I don't need to explain. I'm going to explain while she's doing this, okay? You always want to be pretty much on the end of the roller, but you can sometimes it just feels like if you're here and it's really sensitive, okay? You can do two legs, but if you're trying to get the pressure, you can't be like this. You're not going to get it. So you've got to get used to coming off of it, really pulling it in a stretch, or sitting here. And therein lies the the truth about why I love this so much. You just stick it there. Now, this straddles whatever meaty kind of chunk of muscle you're trying to work. If it's really, really sensitive, like the rectus femoris will be right here, you can straddle it. So you can get that dip right over it. I've even seen foam rollers that have that built into it now, but you can get that right into it. So you can straddle that muscle that's sensitive. So that way you can basically apply pressure on the outsides of it here and not put it direct on there. Okay. So that's another beautiful thing about this, but we're going to start having Sarah do the actual roller, so you guys can just get an idea of what that is. We're going to do some with that, however, do some with this, and then we're going to go to the floor and start doing the quads. I know her quads are going to be angry, so that's why. If you go to, I'll type it in the chat right now. Sarah can. It's at Roll Into Fitness. That's on Instagram. Or you can look up P-Not. But I like these because he makes two different. I don't know. Maybe maybe he makes soft peanuts, makes soft ones now too. I don't know. But I know the Roll Into Fitness has a gray one, which is softer than this, and then the black one, which. No, I just do Roll Into Fitness. I'm actually going to start. I need to hit him up because he was giving me 2 of them to give away every show. So I might have it in here because it would be forever. So, all right, let's get to it. Let's have Sarah do this. I'm going to get my mic off so I can hold it. All right. I feel like an announcer now. And we've got Sarah. All right. So simple enough. They can hear me, right? We're all good. You guys can hear me still? Because I can see it. I can see it. Cool. Effectively, all you're doing here is you're sitting it. Babe, slide it more towards. Are you bouncing with that other leg? Yeah. Okay. So she's just bouncing with the other leg that's over that side. So you can even slide it more towards the edge of the seat if you wanted to. You can get your back against the wall like we are right here. I mean, if Sarah slid back, stand up and slide it. Yeah, Sarah, see now you can, this is all like beginner style. So if you guys have any kind of real sensitivity here, if it's really bothering you, then lean against the wall. Make it easy on you. Get yourself more comfortable with it. Start with it under both legs and just rock back and forth and try and get right in there. You're trying to dig the line out right where your glute meets your hamstring, and you'll feel a little ball. That's like my mom in church back in the day. I mean, if you're going to do that, then I would just say both legs, lean against a wall. Maybe do it on the floor first. Excuse me. If you're going to do both legs, you can actually do like straight legs laying on the floor too. It'll work to warm up with it. But when you're here doing this is my favorite thing. It rests, relax the hamstrings, and it pulls everything, or it relaxes everything up to where you can push up into the muscle belly here. You can take, like Sarah's doing, you just really fidget around with your leg and kind of pull it and feel what way you can make it feel like more of a stretch, like you're actually going to break something down a little bit more. And like Sarah, when she stretches me and stuff, she'll shake me around and just, like when I work on people, I press into them and then I'm twitching as I'm doing it. So doing this is, one form of the pressure. Then she's like moving her leg to create that stretch, how I always harp. And then the last one, just twitching or fidgeting a little bit. And that gets you that stimulation, to make things break down a little bit quicker. That way you're not just sitting there beating the tissue up and just waiting and waiting and waiting. That's how rolling used to be for me when I first started holding. It's like get on the spot and then you're just like, eyes are going open and closed and you're making faces. But when you add that little bit of twitching and kind of just fidgeting around, it allows it to release quicker. There, didn't want you guys to hear me choking myself. All right. How's it feeling? So she's on a good spot. You can see how she's grabbing the roller and like leaning to the side. So remember the guys, these muscles, they run down the leg here, okay? So when they run down the leg here, if she's getting up under it like that, when she pulls it and kind of leans, she's taking these cords that are here and she's bringing them around the side of the leg. She's like pulling into that. So that way, you're taking these knots and these cords that you feel that are really hard, and you're finding a way to like take the muscle belly and pull it or push it into a stretch. And the thing is, guys, always remember, I always preach about being like a rug burn. So when you sit there and grab on the tissue, you have to press the roller, press your hand, whatever you're using, into the roller as if you were going to like grab your friend's wrist and twist it and get a rug burn. When you do that, like you don't let the roller or your hand or whatever you're using, you don't let it come off of the tissue it's pressing into. You got to press into it to where it grabs the tissue and you're pushing it to where you're almost like, that's kind of my skin, but you're taking that and you're using it to stretch that knot. And that's all you're doing. As long as you can grab that, put pressure into it, and then pull it in the direction that's going to allow it to stretch, it's going to release. And you're not going to have to sit there and wait and wait and wait. The goal for me to do this is like to teach my beginning foam rolling advice of 3 to 5 minutes, do this, yada, 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 like you guys. If any of you have followed me before, then you've heard that a million times. But I want to get it to where you guys realize when I foam roll, I don't hold most spots for 3 to 5 minutes anymore. The big ones that I've waited too long on, yes. But now I've gotten it to where doing this little stretch technique and other things, you can release spots in a minute, minute and a half, big spots, you know. It's way more painful. Don't get me wrong. It's way more painful for a shorter amount of time. So, but the other side of that is once you do more releasing and you start releasing more stuff, then it will be more painful, but that pain will be a lot less because you'll be used to it and it won't be as sensitive. So she's got the inner thigh muscle. If you see that edge of the roller, the edge of the roller is always going to be harder, no matter if your roller's old, whatever. And guys, if your roller's over a year old, especially nowadays, I would buy like 2 or 3 of them, you know, so in case we can't get them at any point, or in case that, you know, like for a moment we can't get a roller or something. I mean, that's, huh? Yeah, they come from China or whatever. Who knows? I mean, just the real world that we live in today. So think about that. You know, you might want to get a second one, or you know, if yours is beat up or old, if you're pressing into the roller more than it's pressing into you, then and it's time to upgrade. Because that's always the thing when people can't release stuff. I'm like, you don't have a hard enough roller. If you're trying to go for deep stuff, you need a hard black roller. If you're trying to go for the superficial layers of the dermis wall, like the skin wall and everything, those hydrated layers, look up the melt method. She does phenomenal work. And she uses soft rollers to work those layers. But you can do those in the beginning and everything, and then in conjunction with the hard roller. How's that feeling?
Good. Looser on this side. I had to get up because my hip flexor wanted to pop because it was releasing everything back here. So everything in the front wanted to just break free. And that's what happened. So now I can do my left
Turn
side.
to the side. Okay, see that side right through there? You're probably going to, yeah, not done here. Now flip around. Yeah, look at that. Look at the peak. See the peak under her glute right there and how it makes it stick out more. And now it makes her back. It's dropping the pelvis down, but it makes that flat part of her upper glute look really, really apparent. You see that? Right here. It looks really flat. So that's just telling you, like, as we go back through this, if you were doing this yourself, you could go back to the last 2 weeks and 2 weeks ago, and you could hit the waist rolling where you get the roller in here. Work that area, work down in here, and that would actually drop that upper shelf. But you can see there, yeah, like her glute just looks nice and round there. It's got even more roundness here than the other side, but that's because she opened this on the, I'm like using the wrong finger there. She opened this on the other side, so when she turns back around, you can see the effect that it created here, but it also drops that, which makes this look more apparent. So flip back around. This is higher, makes that look rounder, see? But when she drops this side, now we can get a visual, see if it makes it a liar of me or not. So she'll do the other side here, and then we can see if it drops down the same exact way, and if it makes that whole upper glute kind of tie-in area to the lower back, if it makes it look more flat the same way it did on the other one. And if it does, like if you see that, guys, then you know, boom, okay, I've got this to drop. That's a big, big deal when the body will allow something to drop in the pelvic region. So when you see that and the legs have dropped also, the whole one leg longer than the other for the chiros out there. I know there is a few chiros who watch this, and I know you guys don't say that and understand it. So, you know, praise the Most High for you guys out there. There's still chiros like out there, you know, who understand that, because it's amazing how many people I meet in the chiropractic world who are dumbfounded when I tell them that it's just a pelvic tilt. It changes their entire career and practice. But it's really awesome that you guys, I do know some of you that are in here aren't doing it, and that you said this has helped you. So hopefully this makes it even better here. I saw what she said. Yeah, you're welcome, Mama. It's a big thing. So, and get yourself like a blue one, you know, that like ocean blue one, and get a black one. Those two together. And then also, if you're going to get this and the gray one, would be the two combination of the soft and the hard. So you can get those two, and then get a blue and a black roller, and then a massage gun would be the only one. I can get. I'll hit them up for you, Mom. I'll see what it'll do for the gray and the black one. So as I was saying, when you know, before I went on my little chiropractor one leg rant. That stuff always gets me fired up. The with this side, when you get something to drop in the pelvic region, that's a big deal, because especially on a woman, there's so much flow of energy going through there, and the lumbar sacral nerves being all sexual bladder and hormone function, women resonate through those hormone pathways big time. We know, most women hold their massive amounts of their energy in their waist section, in their hip section. Guys hold it up in their chest because we're all like respect driven. Women are emotion driven, love driven. You can also see, like, I think I said this in here, but when women start developing chest tension all around their chest, becomes really, really hard, then that there is a love loss in their life, and it's switched to the respect driven side of it. You see this in relationships as they're failing and stuff like that. I would see it with clients where their chest would get extremely hard, and they would stop really having issues in their lower body during that time. It's really weird. The entire tension pathway would shift to the upper body. Lower body would start to kind of melt away. And it's weird. You would physically see and feel the energy change from one section of the body to the other. It happens on guys too, but guys are different. They will shift. When you see, like, if you see a guy who's put into a position of weakness, like a lack of manhood, somebody, it doesn't matter if even like a gay guy, you could still affect this. If a guy is taken out of his manhood, basically, and is forced to act in a way that's a lot more sensitive, like they don't have any confidence and strength in that, you will notice major hip tension, distortion, everything in the lower body. So it does happen on both sides. It's pretty phenomenal to see the different aspects of what the nervous system does and energy in the body. Look at this, kicking the like external rotation out through there, seeing the leg go out. That's a good way to pull that inner one all the way across. But then you can see the way she's leveraging the roller coming across is going from the inside to the outside too. So, and then you see the movement there. Just helps to melt those things away. So, yeah, so she's kind of pulsing the contraction of the hamstring here.
It feels so deeper on my left side that I almost have to contract to open up more so that I can get in there deeper. And then whichever way that you feel your spots, it's kind of the way that you want to lean, whether forward, backwards, left or right side. So for me, I'm trying to drive mine away from my inner thigh. So I'm going to pull this here and then kind of lean this way so that it drives it and opens it up, if that makes sense, if I'm saying it right.
Mm-hmm. It's all really just, you can get fancy with it, but it just overcomplicates it. In reality, the muscles run in length. They run in chords and sections, and then you just have to push into those and then figure out which way you need to lean the roller, push the roller, whatever, while keeping pressure. Most important part, you cannot move and lift your pressure. Otherwise, you'll let that tissue that you're trying to pull into a stretch, you'll allow it to slide out from under the thing that's grabbing and pulling it into a stretch. But it's not rocket science. Find the hard spot that's got some sensitivity to it. Find those sections that are really, really tense and lack of, mobility. Hit them and then pull them into a stretch, and then add some kind of stimulation. All right, so let's see what the verdict is.
I feel like I could do more.
All right, yep, see, it's getting better through here and getting flatter up top. So this is coming down. That's what we wanted to see. It was a lot. It was more like bubbly. The way her peak of her glute was bubbly, it was kind of more bubbly up there. But now it's getting that kind of flat look. But that's a good flat look, because look, when she pulls her knee up, her hip flexion, you see the roundness goes all the way around her glute. You don't get that curve. It's not pulling her back into, other people that pick it up and they'll go like this and they like pinch, or when they go, they lean. So just to see. And it doesn't matter. Some people can cheat and be like, no, I don't lean, because they cheat and make it so it doesn't look like they lean. But you can still, for me, I can look and see, like, if it's contracting or not. Like when women come in and they don't want to admit they have fat transfers and glute enhancements. And then I tell them that, like, if you trust me to fix you, then I hope you trust to know that I know these differences in this, because you can see anatomically. You can see a girl has a big fat transfer. There's a whole section on the deep squat, deep lunge, and everything. the top of the glute does not fire. It just rolls together. And you can see girls when they like lay out and do different things on, you know, where they'll put their knees like this and then sit on them. You can see how it rolls out to the side. And that's completely unnatural. That wouldn't happen that way. You wouldn't see one section of the glute move out away from the rest of the section of the glute. So when you see a girl squat and you think that she has like a fat transfer or glute enhancement, then you can always tell. And this happens on everybody. You can see it too. I have to look at this for guys who are doing injection sites in their legs, because I can see parts of their glutes that just don't turn on. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Scar tissue pocket. We got to break that up. Otherwise you're not going to have full facilitation. So there is real applications for this. I'm not just talking trash about the people that have this, but if you're going to go be a therapist or something, it's a powerful thing when you can go up to somebody and then kind of be like, I know you have a fat transfer and they don't want to admit it or something, but then all of a sudden, you know, that also works towards your advantage of them having confidence in the ability that you can see things that they don't think other people can see. All right. So we're going to do, yeah, but I want you just to demonstrate some stuff with this. So with this one, I like to really get it right down the middle. You'll feel the whole cord of everything that runs straight through there and the bicep femoris and everything. And you want to take it and get that ball you feel right here and push it down the leg. And you kind of like torque your body. I'm going to see how Sarah does it without me really even saying anything to her. But in this one, a lot of times I do sit in a chair with the back. I do sit somewhere, something with I can grab. I can lean my upper shoulders back against the seat because I don't want to get too close to where your whole back is touching like that. That's too close. Yeah. So you want to be able to like lean back to where more of your upper back is going to touch and if you're doing this right now and you want to punch me because it was way too much and you didn't need to lean back, then don't lean back. So sometimes I'll tell you to demonstrate stuff, tread carefully, you know, especially if you're going onto this. If you don't need to exaggerate it, don't exaggerate it. Because if you exaggerate it and you cause any form of resistance, any kind of spasm, any kind of contraction of the muscle, you're working against yourself. And you're probably still going to release it because I'm teaching you how to do it in a way that is just really effective. But you're going to have that onset soreness, that bruising, that stuff that's going to do it. And if you have that, sure, you might work through it, have no problems or everything. But if it causes any hindrance, any limitation to your walking or movements or anything, you have now created compensation. So therefore, you have more work to fix in the future. So the more gentle you can do things and still get the same result, always, always, always. That's why I got away from digging with my elbow and went to more pressure with my hands and my knees. All right, so what are we feeling here, babe? Yeah, you can even, I don't know if you guys you can see it though, like how our inner thigh is bulging, like it's pushing it out. What do we got here? I put the new batteries in it. Now it's blinding. Yeah, so see how it's pushing her whole inner thigh out there, but look at how nice like the top of her quad gets. See that? So you're seeing now, like when you take, because everybody's like, oh, I'm quad dominant. My quads are so much bigger than my hamstrings. No, they're not. The hamstring is pushed through the quad. When you go anterior, whoop, this gets pulled into a stretch, which means this ball of your hamstring now comes flat and goes in. It pops out here. So your quad girth looks like a lot more than it is. But look right there. Look how it makes her quad look almost smaller than the other side because it's more peak and it looks like it cuts down on the side and the inside. So you're seeing now as she presses into the hamstring and smashes it out, kind of flattening it out and squishing it out, it's making the quad and everything. You're seeing how it's changing the look of the quad right there. That tells you how much the quad's look is affected by the hamstring pushing into it. Because look right now, it's making her quad, like everything looks like her leg is getting smaller towards the knee. And so what this is simulating right here, what this is showing you, and of course she's not fully released yet, but once this is done, once she would fully release what she's hitting right now, that's the way her quad should look. Obviously a little bit different, more fullness on the sides and stuff there, but it should take the representation that you're seeing now. It should look leaner, longer. The knee should look less fatty, less thick. And then you should look like fuller at the top through the quad sweep, but it should look smaller at the hip, like the leg dropped out of it. All right, whenever you. let's just check this one out. Because I want to get, I mean, in reality, guys, these things that you're doing, you're just going to keep finishing them. You keep going down the legs. You'll end up just taking it from here and working your way all the way down and trying not to have any kind of spot that feels more hard than the rest, more contracted than the rest. So if you feel that, just continue down the leg, continue the outside, continue the inside. Yeah, look at it's. You did this one, right? Yeah, you can see that's the tuck of it, like how much the glute tucks up under here now. It's a big difference. This is even changing here because now it's allowing, because that's dropped so much now, she's actually getting the hip and everything coming down. Is going to allow this guy to push back in, contract in the way it's supposed to, because now we've got it in this position here, straight on, instead of being in this position here. So her hip flexor was like that, and now we've got it like this, so now it can seat in properly, basically meaning these can squish together. So when those can squish together, look, you can see it's recruiting. This now went from flat to like it's like a rubber band is pulling across it. If you guys see that, to where the upper glute looks like more round, peaky kind of look to it. So now I want her to, over here, yeah, you can see a lot less on this one, and then up there you can just take a food for thought, or a mental picture. Have her fix up the other side now. Mm-hmm. All right, so same thing here. Really, for this part, if you guys are watching and you're already doing this, or you've already finished that, whatever, you can skip through, because most of this I'm just going to let her kind of go at it, and I'll say little tidbits until she's done. Doesn't take much, though. If you guys get these hamstrings loose and you just left that for the day, you'd notice a pretty ridiculous difference, because the quads are the ones that are interfering the most with the actual pelvic girdle, simply because they're the byproduct of an anterior pelvic tilt. They're the one that gets really, really angry. And there's all the pressure from the hips dropping in the front, so it's over compounding everything through the quads. So if you just leave the hamstrings, if you were to do that, this is one I would say is completely okay, because being that everybody has an anterior pelvic tilt for the most part today, when you decompress the hamstrings, then it will allow the quads to come back and sit. So your knee will lock better, everything. So it's one good one that you could do for decompression and then going back. And you might find that, like, even when Sarah goes into this now, that you'll avoid what she's going to see, because her quads are still going to be pretty angry. They're still going to be pretty sensitive. But this will have helped a lot to decompress those and make them easier to work with. But just food for thought in the future. We're doing the school, we do them on certain days. You guys aren't. So that's the ability and benefit you have, is you can do this whenever you want. And you could take a day, or you could take 2 days after you do the hamstrings. Really let the body open up, move, and decompress those quads. And then when you go back, they're going to be a lot easier to work with. They're not going to hurt nearly as bad. And then you'll probably get a lot better result without the onset bruising and soreness. But if you're going to do them right in a row with the hamstrings and the quads, like we're going to do today, then I would suggest just being gentle with the quads at first, just melting them away, and then going into deeper and deeper. But don't try and kill it right away. First time you roll the quads, they're pretty resistant. So she said that one was a little faster. You can see, yeah, same thing going on. It's cut in. Yeah, she didn't hit the outside as much there. So go do just a couple more seconds on the outside. Let's just give them an example of Try and take that and roll it to the outside. That's an example of just the visual, guys, too. If you are getting in tune with being able to look at the visual and see the lines that you're not seeing, or see the lines that you are seeing, and then in turn what's not around it, then you could, start to look at certain things and then make that your attack plan. Because I do that a lot. When people walk in, that's typically, if something is really visually distorted, like if there's a big distortion in the way it looks versus the rest of the area or the whole body, then that's typically going to be an area that will net you a lot of gains. But it used to be areas that I would shy away from because I didn't know how to get through all the hard tissue then. But now it's just patience. She said she got a good pop. All right, let's see. Yeah, there we go. So that pop she probably got, was it right through that area? Yeah, so right in the trochanter. That's what you want. Now you can see it dip down. It's making our glutes look really nice. But now you can see like quads are dropping down there, but they still turn sideways again. Yeah, look, the quads look kind of weird now. They just look kind of flat because we got that to come up so much. And Sarah's really a hippie kind of, she's got her hips are her region of dominance in her. So her quads too, but you could see that it's more hips than quads because look how small her quads look now. So that shows you how much is affected. People want to say, "Oh, my quads are so big. They're so much." No, they're not. You gotta take the barrier that sits behind them and release it so they can go back into place. All right, let's get some quads. I don't gotta do this one. Definitely single legs. I mean, if you want, do you want to do, just do a 2-leg warm up. Just show them how to do. This is how we roll. Okay. 30 seconds of rolling legs back and forth, and just for Sarah to warm up her quads because these are angry as angry gets. So even still, like how people roll and just violently and like they're in a race to see how fast they can go back and forth. Um, you see here, you're still trying to stretch the tissue. Even if you're going to go in and trigger point afterwards, it makes no sense for you to be all erratic and just slapping it around back and forth because you're causing the nerves to get overstimulated to protect themselves by contraction. And then it's going to cause you to have to wait through the nervous system calming back down a little bit. So it's going to be probably a little more painful, a little more onset bruising and soreness, and it's not going to be nearly as uncomfortable to get into them. So, all right. So again, outside of the leg, guys. Now with this one, same as the glute, where you would sit up under the glute, go above the quad in the crevice of the hip girdle. You want to push the whole goal of this is we are going to shove the quad down to the knee. And you're going to go cord by cord by cord. So she's probably going to rotate either to her outside, to her inside, straight on, and figure out which one. This is literally, you see right there, guys, the roller is demonstrating perfectly like kneading dough. So when you got your rolling pin out and you're baking and you're rolling that out and you're getting the dough going, you would never go over the bump, you make the bump go flat. So don't go over your bump. Look at that, like how much it's making her glute look like a basketball right there. And it's making her hip look like she's, training for bodybuilding shows. That's what you want there. So if you are somebody who's competing or something, look at that. Look at how much separation that just caused. She's basically got her hip and or her quad and hamstring pulled like a couple inches out of the hip girdle right now, and it's stretching more and more and more. So you can do this where she's using her hip to pull up, like she's pulling her, her hip away from her quad. You can tuck your abs, you can push your leg down through the knee and then stretch that area out even more, kind of like rocking back and forth. Yep, she said it really sucks. But these are the ones. I mean, when you get it like that, is these muscles through here are so resistant because they basically do the brunt load of holding us all the time. And guys, honestly, if you just hit this one line she's doing straight down the middle, pulling it like that on both sides for a whole rolling session and did a long 2-minute stretch on it, I would probably spend 10 minutes on this one line though. Because as you can see, we're already, getting into a few minutes of her doing this. That's crazy, man. I'm just watching this is pretty. It's like I'm doing it, but I get to see it melt. Never wearing leggings. She told me to wear leggings next time. To each their own. You will never catch me in some pink yoga pants. Yep. That's it. Go up. Stand up. Let's see it. Wow. Look at that. So if you're trying to make your pants look good, let's make our pants look good. How about that? Let's not wear pants that make us look good. Let's make our pants look good, because that made our pants look all smooth and shiny and just elegant, doesn't it? To me, that just stand straight, baby, again. Look at it. It just screams elegant to me. There's nothing that stands out more than the other, even though it kind of flattened her glute out. You see that? Look how flat her glute got, like, in a way. But that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Don't worry, like, oh, I've had clients who I did 4 hours on, and the after picture, their butt looks flat and like squishy. And then I'm like, just wait till you go load it up. And they go to the first workout they hit, their butt is like a basketball, swollen. They can't even sit in their car right. It's like, they're like, this is crazy. So when you get something that flattens like that, rotate a little bit, babe, more towards the glutes. So you can see your glute more. No, your whole body, baby. Just turn this way. Yeah, there you go. See, it's like when you get that flat look, that was a lot rounder a second ago. So when you get that flat look, that's a good thing. That's like a really good reset. The nerves are chill, they're calm. You don't want to see anything stuck contracted. You want a muscle to look just limp and chill until you turn it on. And then, of course, the more you turn it on and stuff, you'll get it to look like a big ball if you want it to, but it'll be a very chill, squishy ball. Even though it'll look like a nice, firm, round basketball, it'll be chill and squishy and in the way that the nervous system is calm and relaxed. All right, let's get it. Get the next one. No, I want you to do the other leg. Always on the quads. Do not do more on one leg before you do the same thing on the other. One spot. I can't harp that enough. The quads are the last place in the world. Each muscle in the quad is like 5 to 1 of other ones. So if you sit there and roll one quad muscle and do 2 on that side, and then you forgot, or your kids came, or your husband, or something, and like important emergency or whatever, then you really cause some serious malfunctions the rest of that until you fix the other leg. I'm telling you, because your quad muscle, like I said, it's like 3 to 5 to 1. And so you release that one and do it. If you did 2 spots and not on the other one, it'd be like releasing 10 muscles on the side of your back and not the other side. I mean, imagine the discomfort and weird kind of shift you would get from that. So you see here now, you could have flipped around too. It's okay though, like, because they know what you're doing. And this is good, so you guys can see. The other side is equally important, because you want to figure out how to cock your knee up, straighten your leg out. It's always going to be different, guys. Sometimes, like the way Sarah is right now, is super comfortable. And other times, with your legs straight, is where it's going to be more comfortable, because maybe you're trying to get more pressure, or maybe you're trying to take pressure off. But there's no right or wrong way. You said this side what? She said this side wants more pressure. Yeah, you can even see it, like just everything like straightening. Like she was really, really curved in her lower back. As this is melting away, like the curve of her lower back is going straighter. This is pretty wild to see. It's cool because this is like what I try and recreate when I'm doing it, but like actually seeing how it melts and what's changing even gives me different ways to think about, how I could adjust the pelvis while I'm doing this or try and pull on different ways. And see how she's straightening her back right now. So, maybe the curve creates more pull down the leg, but maybe the straightening of the back puts more pressure into the deep part of the quad, So changing your pelvic is going to be, leveraging things different. Just like I tell people, don't go out and do lat pulls and have a big old curved back like all the bodybuilders do. It makes no sense. Because I take all the big bodybuilders, I don't care if they're the biggest dude in the world. I neutralize their pelvis. I'll take the weight down like a tenth of what they normally lift, and they can't lift it. Why? Because their lat insertion is so weak from them curving the lower back so hard through those lat pulls for years and years, and rows, everything. So do not curve. You should tuck your glutes under a little bit, straighten your back out to where there's almost no curve, and then do all of your pull motions. And you'll notice that you'll hit that lat tine insertion big time. All right, let's stand up. See if Sarah knows what she's doing. Let's see. Oh, good, good. Never let me down, babe. Good dog. See? Getting that elegant look to that side, too. Just looks like, Sarah just looks like like she just went and bought some new pants and, and they fit her body perfectly, They do. I mean, it makes the pants look like more form fitting. It doesn't make them look like choppy. I mean, her quad was sticking out like crazy. If any of you are on this and can pause or whatever, just bounce back to the beginning when she first stood up like this. It'll look like a jumbled mess compared to this. I love doing the afters because I can tell people how dumpy they looked in the befores, and it's crazy. Like the only time you could ever tell a woman, like, like, oh yeah, you're looking squishy. Like it's a good squishy though. That's what you want to look. Pliability is what you want. Guys too, bodybuilders, only time you can tell them they look squishy and they don't freak out because, you're telling them like, dude, look how pliable that tissue is. Look how well you, and they're normally going to get upset, but they're moving their arm at the same time. Like, wow, this is so free. You can even see, look at her hips. She's got like nice gap right through there at the groin. That's like, got a good straight curve. The reason I'm pointing that out, women, if you look at yourself through the groin area right through there, and it looks like it's a ball up at the top, then it cuts in. I need to point this out. I'm getting too comfortable in my chair over there. Okay, face it a little bit. Face it. Okay, so if right here is a ball, and then it pulls in like this, and it looks straight down to your knee, that's a definite telltale sign you need to do what Sarah just did today. Because most women have a big ball right here, and it looks like this is all clumped up like this. And see what it does to the leg? It clumps like that, and it makes it look like this big fatty kind of chunky area up here, and then like a weird like atrophied knee, and then like the knee's got like a fatty kind of thing to it. But now you can see it's like streamlined, everything is straight. Sarah is massive in her hips typically, and this is, I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. Sarah never had a butt because of the dancing. It was like, her nervous system had stimulated that tucked in kind of postural position for so long, yeah, like that, with her toes, everything kicked out. She'd done that so many times that through us trying to free her up, plus I was, obviously we're both still learning over the last 10 years, but having to free her up, then retrain her, but then get away from that training and stimulating her new like athlete kind of training and bodybuilding, compound lifting, different athletic motions that were completely different from any kind of ballet or dance. So we had to retrain. You remember, the nervous system is a stimulation recording device. So if you stimulate it in and toes out a billion times, well, you better get to like a half a billion to at least start to think that you can start pulling the tide this direction. Whatever you've done the most, you have to supersede. And then Sarah, through the last 5 years, well, 4 of it for sure, she was breastfeeding Josh for 4 years, tucked in fetal position, completely rounding everything through here, further exaggerating everything that a human being deals with, because she was compressing the whole front side, and then she was rounding the whole backside. So weakening the back, weakening everything through here, like every human being already has, and then over compounding everything through here. So this was quite a mission. So seeing this, you know, hallelujah, it's an incredible thing to see. And when you guys see stuff like this in yourself that, you know, has been 20, 30 years of your life, hey, Dana, that's awesome. So happy to hear that. This saves the chat too, right? Yeah. No, I mean when it saves, when we save it, it saves the chat too, I think, in the files, which is good. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. So yeah, these things here, you see them. All you're doing is getting muscles to be shorter and pulled up in there. And we're really going to finish with this today, because all you do for that, guys, is go around here and find where the target spot is that feels like a line that you can push down and push down and push down. All you're doing, pushing down, pushing down, pushing down, pushing down. You're lengthening tissue. That's why when people try and like talk it up and then they expect me to go like more and more and more into detail about my techniques and stuff, especially doctors and therapists who come over, I try and find more fancy things to say about it, but I don't. It's not fancy. It's not complex. I tell people, you pay me because I can press harder and longer than everybody else. And that's the truth. I will hold a plank on somebody for 30 minutes in one straight motion and literally not come down, switching positions on them, holding spots for 5-10 minutes each time, to where like my hand is completely numb and I feel like bone is chiseling and cutting away at my flesh. That's why people pay me. Because if you can hold a spot in the right direction for long enough and not give up, you are going to make somebody's life completely different in a matter of hours. And you guys see it. The pictures aren't bogus, and they never were bogus. They were always something just to show people the power of the work. You can continue doing this well. Yeah, I mean, we're done with like what I was going to demonstrate with them. So let's just pick another line, one more line, just to give them some more stuff to do with you. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Okay, so we did this when we were kind of, you remember, guys, we were doing the outside of the bone, bony hip area, and then we did the inside of here. So now, Sarah, this is what I was telling you, how these groups, they correlate so heavy. They almost need to be done together. So pelvic tilt, if you guys are watching this in the future, okay, pelvic tilt, hips and glutes, or hips, glutes, pelvic tilt, that episode, and then last week, and then this week. Combine these two together, whether you do them in the same day or you do them in sequence, okay? Now, if I was going to pick on the way that I would do it, I'd probably do the waist rolling, where you sink the roller in your hips, between the hip and there. Then I would go down into doing like the hamstring one that Sarah did today, starting right up under the glute, which we did on the pelvic tilt one also, but then going down the leg with that, really working the hamstrings, and then going into the quads and inner thighs like this. Once you do that, you can actually decompress the hips, glutes, and pelvic a lot better. We couldn't skip it in the way that we were doing the course, the 12-week plan, but you can reverse them if you're going to do them together and in sequence. So, and I would actually reverse them, because you're still doing them together. Now, if you're going to start on the hamstrings and go up through there and you're going to go into the waist rolling, you better do some stuff in the hips, like laying on your side and really opening that bone. If you're going to do the inner thighs at all, you better do the outer thigh, like up where the point to the side of your hip, babe, right where your glute is bending right through there. Yeah, right in there where the bony area is. Do you feel it? Yeah, right in through there. You feel that bony area? I always tell you to take your hand, make a fist, and like hit the side of your waist or the side of your hip, and you'll feel the bony area. That area always needs to be done with this rolling right here. So I would do the waist one. I'd go down to do the hamstring real good. I'd bounce over to hit the quads. And then I would do the inner thigh and then do the outer thigh, like to match each other. And you could split that up in whatever way you want. But if you're going to do it, I would do those together, because you don't want to skip the glutes and hips, glutes, and pelvic tilt and go down into the hamstrings and quads unless you're going to go back up into the hips, glutes, and pelvic tilt that same day. So food for thought. Otherwise, you will release a lot of hamstrings and glutes. Guess where it's going to shoot right up into? It's not the most comfortable feeling. And I'm telling you, if you're a woman, it's going to feel a lot worse than a guy. It's just something about guys, goodies, that don't feel the effect of that. But if you release hamstrings, quads, and inner thighs or outer thighs and send it up into the groin region where the tension is still up in the hips, glutes, and pelvic region, it's very uncomfortable, especially for women. For women, it can feel like not childbirth, but the things of childbirth, all the uncomfortable feelings, the tension, the tightness, all the stuff that Sarah described to me. That's what women describe to me when they do below the pelvis, but they don't do anything in the glutes and hips to free it up too. It's just, that's probably one of the last ones. It'd be the same as like freeing up everything through your like your chest and your traps, but then not doing anything in the armpit region. Your neck would freak out. You would have all the circulation pathways would be getting cut off. Everything would pitch so hard and wing out, and then you would be getting massive headache symptoms. So you see, she's worked all the way down, and now she's just kind of the inner thigh, the inner thigh is clearly I'm making words up today. The inner thigh is, it's just, you just have to play with it. You got to get on it and just like kind of like melt and then twist and then melt and then twist. And it's a really uncomfortable area. It's not the area that's the easiest to do with the roller. This is why, like, I like to nail all the big muscle bellies with my hamstrings, quads, and glutes and everything. And then I like to go just long negative it out to really fix my joints around the knees and the ankles and stuff like that. Cause they suck. They're like the most painful thing you can do. Because there's no real easy way to leverage them. All right, let's see. We already determined she knows what she's doing, so let's see what she did. What'd you do? Oh, you did the right leg. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can see that. So squeeze the knee, both sides. Yeah, look, inner thigh doesn't even turn on the left one. It just rolls around towards the front. I mean, I said the left one, did I? So the left one, touch your left one. Oh, I'm looking backwards in the camera. I'm stupid. Here, let me look at the actual. So I'm so turned around because I've been watching the TV. But when you look at yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so to me, it looks like that's the right leg because I'm looking at the TV. But you can see that one on the left leg, how it's completely changed. Right at the knee, too. Flex them again. Squeeze them hard. Straighten your feet out. Now flex them hard. Yeah, now you can see. Look at the thinness on the left. Just poke at the left in case they're seeing it the same way. All right, do the other side, and we're going to wrap it up. Well, we did the inner. Well, you didn't. Last week we did inner and outer. So now you can get another perspective of how. No, it's really good because you can see that whole side. Like, look at the side that's on the roller. You can see how curved her glute is up rolling through the back. So as she releases this, watch how the curve down the leg and everything. That's what you want to look for as you see this. See what starts to melt away and change. I mean, we can do the outer thigh if you do it, a quick one or whatever. to sleep. So you can already see just in the changes now, like the leg, like right where a glute meets your leg, it looks like that curve got a lot more round and less jammed. It didn't look like it was all squished together. And you can see the curve going up in the glute. Everything just starts to flow. When it unwinds, you can see like these kink points that cause us to look more rolled, starts to look more round. That's what you want, because I mean it's amazing when they cut open the body and you see all through the muscle fibers and everything, and the way that it pulls in the contracted state it gets stuck in. It's not like it's just like a flowing muscle, like the stuff gets pulled to the left, to the right, over this and that. It's very, very wild to see. All right, so she's almost done with this one. She's going down the leg. When she finishes this up, then I'm going to wrap it up, but Sarah's going to do the outer thighs. Well, I say goodbye to everybody. So I am. I've said it before. I'm gonna have Sarah do it early this week. So we're gonna pick like one partner and one self therapy. I think we'll probably do it for the hips, one and stuff like that. Maybe one of these, and then we're gonna post it up for free. So if anybody wants to see it, any friends you have that want to check it out, and you can send it. Anybody who can't afford it and stuff like that, just tell them to go to those so they can get, a couple good ones. It's still going to be like 3+ hours of content for them to enjoy. All right, cool. So stand up. Let's just check out that side real quick and go right back down. Yeah, it's better. She's still got some more to do. The outside of that leg is worse. The one you just did, the outside is what needs it more, because the left one looks real good on the outside. The right one still looks thick. See it? So try that. So Sarah's going to do the outside. I'm going to just think of any announcements we have and then just say goodbye. So next week, we're doing from the knee to the foot, right? Calves and shins. Sweet. So calves and shins are something that your body will hide from you big time. They're used so much, same as your hands. A lot of times you'll feel your forearms, you'll feel elbows, you'll feel the shoulders, and your hands could be causing it, your feet could be causing it, things like that. But calves and shins, for me, they're my nightmare because I always forget about them. Like I don't feel them at all, almost ever. But I'll go into work them. And then when I release them, it's like 15 other things in my body fix themselves. So it's just, we can't forget about the little guys, the calves and the shins, the arms and things like that. We have to keep them maintained as well, because there's no part of the body that doesn't affect the other parts. And if you start losing length down in the calves and everything around the feet and stuff, there's some major things that can happen. The last thing you want to do is to impair your calves or your feet through your calves and shin tension, because it's the same thing as wearing huge soles on your shoes. You should wear like sexy shoes to go and hang out in. You should wear flat barefoot shoes almost all the time if you can. A barefoot shoe that has a good support. Just look up barefoot. They have every different style you could ever want now. So just look up barefoot, find the style you want, trail runner, boot, whatever you want, okay? And then wear those all the time. Wear your sexy shoes when you go out, whatever it is. But you wear these big soles and these things like that, you're going to end up having wear patterns on them. One will wear on the outside, one will wear on the inside, stuff like that. Well, that's going to cause your body to lean and shift in different directions. So same thing goes with your calves and your shins. If you neglect them, it's going to throw your foot off. And if you throw your foot off, the stability of the foot is a stabilizing piece, and it stabilizes the mobility and power of the ankle. So you have to open the calves and shins. If you don't open the calves and shins, trust me, guys, you're going to have all these weird leans and stuff. When you see the people in the pictures and they look like they're leaning forward, falling back, you don't believe how so many of them might go through it. And it's like their tibialis and everything on the outside of the legs and the front of the leg and everything through the shin muscles is just angry. I mean, super, super angry. So join us next week, Thursday. We'll do partner therapy. Sunday, we'll do our self-therapy. This will be, is this it? Oh yeah, hands and feet will be the last week. Yeah, that'll be our 12 weeks, guys, and then we're gonna start it all back over and see see how much better we do it the second go around. Okay. Um, oh wait. Oh yeah, maybe I can be the model next time. Wow, dude, that'd be really cool. Oh, that's fine. That'd be really cool though. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe next time we'll do it because then I can do like my shirt off and everything. I'm like, skinny ripped and stuff. So you guys can. I'm not big. That's the best part. Like when I used to go to the pools, all the guys that I go with are like 100 pounds heavier than me, and they're huge buff dudes and stuff like that. And everybody would be staring at them when we walk in the pool. But then it was funny because I'd take my shirt off and I was like 160 pounds, looked like Bruce Lee ripped. But I wasn't big at all. I was just lean and I loved to foam roll. I'd go every day. I would just look in the mirror and be like, I wonder if I can make that show. And then I would go foam roll it. So my guys would like, I'd take my shirt off at the pool and then they're like, dude, what muscle is that? Like, what is that? Like, and then they're too big. A lot of these things when you're big you can't see them. So it was kind of cool that like I get to go through them, and then I would inspire like superficially, you know what I mean, whatever though. But I would get a lot of my meathead friends to be like, dang, that's crazy, all you did was foam roll that, you got all that stuff to show. So I do like when being smaller, it's kind of cool because with you guys, you'll be able to see, like if Sarah releases something, it'll be immediate. There won't be some distortion of it because I have like a huge pec or like huge arms or huge lats. It can hide things. So when you're talking about like therapeutic examples and stuff like that, it'd be better for somebody like my size. It's perfect. So maybe I'll do that the next 12 weeks. I'll be the model. Let Sarah work on me. And this will be a good thing for females out there, for smaller people. I mean, I just worked on a 27-year physical therapist, and she's tiny. She's buff, but she's tiny, you know? And she tells me how she just like manhandles like huge dudes and stuff because she knows exactly the way to leverage and position herself and to use different techniques and methodology to make things happen instead of trying to use, brute force. That's obviously not there from her structure. But it'll be cool for you guys to see a female perspective, a small person working on somebody bigger than them, or thinking in a way that you can't do this because I'm a female or I'm 60 or I'm 70. And I got some pretty kick butt therapists who are your age who are small too. So all right, let's see. Dum dum dum. Right at 1 hour and 11 minutes too. 111. Squeeze. Yeah, so a lot better at the hip through there. She still needs her inner thigh. She didn't do as good on the right leg, so she's going to touch that up. So you can see right there, guys. If you look at that, look how jumbled up at the top on on the right leg, and then how it pulls in and makes the knee look kind of like all jumbled. And see that? See how it's like flat at the bottom, and the other one's like a nice consistent curve, goes from the groin all the way down to the knee on the left, and the right looks like it jumbled up. But that's because she didn't finish that inner thigh as well. Her right side is a nightmare. It always has been, but it's so much better now. Looking at this is phenomenal for me because this is what we've been working towards for about 10 years, is getting her to this point now. But so again, guys, we thank you as always. We're very honored that you would even join us once, but let alone to join us for for as much as you guys have to learn with us. Thank you for all the suggestions. You guys have made a lot of good pieces from this, so I don't have to do this. I'm finally like, after this, I'm going to order the microphones. We can get them obviously from here from then till now, but we'll get those and just a couple other pieces. So when we do this 12-week, it should just be streamlined. We can focus more on the work. We don't have to be jumbling around with all the equipment and stuff. And then I'm trying to get it, if we can figure out like certain things with some hosting software and stuff, maybe to be able to do multiple cameras. That's really the only thing. I wanted better lighting and maybe to add a second profile, like to have a camera that's just stationary, boom, that's going to be like a horizontal profile, and then have one that's like straight down, things like that. So we can, I don't know if Zoom supports that or if it would have to be like a Vimeo thing or something like that, but more so just for us to have, like I still film with this camera right here, even though it's on there. So whatever it's seeing, I film and then I can edit stuff. But I want to get it to where there's a couple other angles so I can save that for after and then edit stuff together for the other videos, because I do want to make a 12-week actual therapeutic course, like a real, this is the real, but I actually want to put it into a formal thing that I could send to you guys that has, that would be like, because you guys get a certificate of completion, but I mean, come on, I want to give you guys something that is like with you, not just to be able to go back online. So, who knows, internet and all this stuff like can change up and things like that. So, I want to have something where you guys could have something tangible, but also that is not just like this, where it has like a professional setup, multiple angles, so you guys can really get this. It wasn't just for you guys to support me and Sarah and the work, but we really wanted you guys to have every possible way to really understand what you're looking at. So thanks again. We'll see you on Thursday. What's that? Oh yeah, I forget about questions because then we do it on. Is there any questions on this? Normally on self-therapy we don't. It's never going to stop until I can't use the internet anymore. Like if I ever go like super off grid or something like that, but I doubt that would be initial. So
I don't think the second 12 weeks is going to be as structured like this one was, as far as like, we did shoulders and we just worked our way down the body. I think this next set of, I don't know, maybe we'll do it in month blocks or 4-week or 6-week blocks, that we can just, maybe we do a whole one on partner stretching, or we do a whole one on just, just the upper body or just the lower body. So I think now that we have covered the whole body, I think now we can kind of, maybe reach out to you guys. Maybe you guys have, certain ailments that, we didn't really talk about. Maybe we go into certain tendonitis or, all the itis syndromes that are out there that we've been told that we have. So maybe we do one on that, and you guys can, chime in on what you would like us to talk about, what you'd like to see. So I think this one would just be then after we finish the hands and feet, not in this week, but the following week, got 2 more weeks left.
Do some like advanced modalities and
Yes.
yeah. So Dana, or anybody who's watching this, like the payment that you had, everything that you guys have done, that's it. You don't have to pay again. You don't have to worry about it. Like if you come in 6 months, 8 months in the future, and we're, it's, Father willing, we're still doing this, then yeah, you just see what we're doing new, see what it is. You always have access. We're going to constantly update things. You guys have us for life. But yeah, like what Sarah said, I always still want to do some kind of self-therapy, like every week, no matter what modalities we do. I want to do a self-therapy version. I don't want any of you who are doing this to feel like because everybody says, I don't have a partner. I don't have a partner. And so I wanted to make sure that you are your own partner. Because again, the whole purpose is, I tell clients, I don't like lifelong clients. I don't want codependency. I don't like people to say 3 years in that you're still broken and I didn't fix you. That's really bad for business. So I want like people to realize the same way that I fix myself. And sometimes it gets bad. I can fix everything in myself. I let it get too bad and Sarah has to fix me on certain stuff when I'm just too overwhelmed in tension from just doing it too much. But therein lies balance, balancing my work and balancing these things and being more diligent with it. Because if I could do my work till I'm 50, 60, no problem, hard as I do. And it might just be harder on me, but I could maintain it. And I would just have to do what I did from a year or two ago till now, where I cut my schedule back, I space it out. I rarely do straight through 8 hours or even more. And I used to do 12 straight with like 6 people. Now it's like only 4-hour sessions. So you got to space stuff out. You got to plan it. But I do want to make sure that everybody knows, yeah, everything's going to be online. Everything's going to be notified for you to come live still, whatever it is. But we are going to do some more advanced modalities, some movement-based stuff. Sarah's, I want to do a whole 4 weeks on Sarah's dynamic stretching because, and then the self-therapy version of that too, like having the dynamic version of her doing it to somebody on me, and then having the ability for you guys to learn how to do the self-therapy, because stretching is completely a waste of time unless you know exactly how to do it. And I'm talking like you could go 1 inch this way and stop thinking about the spot and it won't stretch, period. I mean, a lot of times stretching is the worst thing that you could be doing for yourself because of the way you're doing it. You're stretching on ligaments, you're pulling on joints because you're not actually opening things. You're not leveraging yourself because you didn't put the joint in the right angle and position. So the muscle's not turning on. You think it is because you feel something, but that feel is very bad. And I've had numerous people, hundreds of them over the years, that I got to stop doing yoga 3 times a week and all their pain went away. because they had to figure out all their debilitating issues, sync them back together, and then they could go and actually stretch and feel it. So cheers, guys. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Love you guys. Thanks for coming.